Hello, my name is Edmund Miller. I'm here for the exhibition Breaking the Walls of Bias, Art from Survivors at the Galerie Bellage on June 14th, 2008. My poem is called Immigration, and it was inspired by, or it's an ekphrasis of Paralysis of Perfection by Jenny Han Neely. Waiting for daddy, or hoping, but clutching the air for some light, she sails away to a new land, some yesterday, yesternight. Asymmetrical figures surround and unfurl at the challenging sight of her enveloping curl, gold, now at twilight tonight. Then, as dark ghosts in still darker nooks, the shadow of blackout fights to turn and return, nightmares on a visit some other night. I brought along with me another poem that is museum inspired. It's called Looking at Modern Art in the Metropolitan Museum. Into the wonderful plastic room of the Metropolitan Museum where they stash the modern stuff, the ambling guard follows. He hasn't let them feel the pink tapestries of Croom Court or run their fingers through the grillwork grapes of that perfect staircase lure, bringing us up to a cloudless sky of solid wall. But what the heck, as he leans against the statue, this is modern, almost art. So they tick off all the soup cans, and we see that they've discovered all the chowder is Manhattan from the fingerprints Manhattan style they leave behind. And that solid black thing that turns Mondrian when you look hard enough for lines is a busy world of signals now that here they let you touch. I also have a short poem that is maybe a good change of mood here. It's called No Gorilla. And then one day you suddenly know that you're not a gorilla and there's no use pretending you are. So you slouch when you stand and go limp in your dungarees. I'd also like to read some poems from my book, The Go-Go Boy Sonnets. Human Era for Brandt. Clear across the room, shining in dim light, the rock-hard golden boy with baby face shifts his weight side to side, dancing in place, a dazzling Apollonian sight. But Olympian Brandt slows the pace to greet his votaries with lips pouted. I'm not concerned about being outed, he says, yet he does need some private space, for exertion makes body overheat. Off to reinvigorate with a white omelet, he's followed by stalker one night. Eluding this fan throws off his diet, forcing him to breakfast where they fry it. Turnover for Gregory Vincent. From rolling around on the little stage at King, the dancer in the rude crew cut gets all smudged up in a black and blue butt. When body dancing fails to engage the disdainful barflies, he tries headstand. This new contortion also cuts no ice with the other guys, but his strange device gets a rise out of me. About to hand him a tip, I sense he's going to crash. I hear him squeak out, "Help me," and fear he'll fall and hurt himself. Although I'm near enough to do all Gregory's bidding, with equilibrium he takes the cash and, smiling sheepishly, says, "Just kidding." This is called Rubber Ducky for Chris M. Wearing a tiny rubber dance costume recycled from an old inner tube, Chris, with his small frame and big-eyed look of bliss, stirs even all the young guys in the room to a frenzy of daddy devotion. "Someday I'll sail clear across the ocean," he vows, and say in the poem, "I played football in my college days." I'm dismayed. As Aristotle was first to construe, the truth leads poetry into muddles unless there's some probability, too. I fear inner tube adrift on the blue, refuse to believe those football huddles. He's just a baby and still needs cuddles. And I have one more poem I'd like to read, which is kind of transitional between the art exhibit in the Go-Go Boys sonnets. It's about one of the people on the bar scene, but it has a subtle allusion to the Holocaust or the memory. There's a few little points you need to know. One is that that nun is a letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it has a special form when it comes at the end of the word that looks sort of like a long question mark, sort of. And Twilo is the name of one of these dance clubs. Oh, and a fag tag is a discount coupon that you get for signing on the list of members of a dance club. A subtle twist. To keep the mailing list current, Ron stands like Terminal Nun, a bit top-heavy with a slight twist, greeting each bevy of gym bunnies to hit Twilo. He hands first-timers the fag tag application, then shifts his weight so he faces the door, scrutinizing the crowd to search for more recruits. When asked his own occupation and pursuits in daylight, Yaron disdains his lot as very dull, without rapture. Waiting tables is nothing to capture in poetry. But drudgery, in chains even, leaves the mind free, as he tells you, with armband of barbed wire tattoo. Thank you.